You've built a hardware product and now you need an app to control it. Here's how to build an IoT connected app without spending six figures on a development team. Look, you've built a hardware product, say for example like a smart device, a sensor, something to go with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and you know that you need a mobile app to go with it. Your customers expect to control the device from their smartphone because that's just how a lot of products work these days, especially in 2026. But here's the problem, right? You talk to developers and they quote you between $10,000 to $50,000 for iOS and Android apps, and they say that it'll take around about 6 to 9 months to develop from the ground up. But unfortunately, most of them have never built IoT apps before, so they don't really understand the specific challenges, the technical limitations, and the firmware guidelines and connectivity when they're working with these apps. So unfortunately, you're going to end up stuck. You can't launch your hardware product without building an app, but also can't afford $100,000 and a year of waiting. So let me show you what's actually possible in 2026 with the help of AI and modern tools today. So before we get into solutions, you need to understand why IoT apps are different from just regular standalone apps, because regular standalone apps just need a back-end database and a few screens. IoT apps, on the other hand, communicate with physical devices in real time. So that means handling the Bluetooth connections, the Wi-Fi protocols, the sensor data, the firmware updates, and the connection drops as well. So when your customer's phone loses Bluetooth connectivity for 2 seconds, your app needs to handle that gracefully. When your device sends sensor data every second, your app needs to process that data without draining the battery quickly. This is specialized work, and most developers have never dealt with these problems because they've just been mainly focusing on developing standalone apps on the phone itself. That's why the quotes for these IoT apps are so high, because they're guessing the complexity and then the requirements and padding the price of these IoT apps. But here's what's changed, especially in 2026. AI tools and modern IoT platforms have made this drastically simpler and cheaper. Not easy, but possible for the first time without a massive development team. Here's the modern approach to building IoT apps, especially in 2026, without spending tens of thousands of dollars. Firstly, you can utilize AI to generate the structure and core functionality by utilizing Claude Code, and specialized IoT platforms can now generate the working code for IoT communication. You can describe what your device does, how it connects, what data it sends, and the AI will help build the foundation for this. Secondly, you can utilize IoT platforms like Firebase for real-time data syncing, AWS for device management, or specialized Bluetooth that handle the complex connection logic for you. And these platforms solve 80% of the hard technical problems. You can use app builders that specifically understand IoT app development, not general purpose app builders like Bubble or Flow, but specialized tools built for real hardware products. So this combination can get you a working prototype built in weeks and not several months for only between $5,000 to $10,000 instead of a six-figure quotation. Let me be straight with you in regards to the limitations, right? Because you still need someone who understands IoT app development. Because yes, the AI can generate the code, but someone needs to know whether the code is actually going to work with your specific hardware. Because you can't do this completely alone unless you have the technical experience. And secondly, custom hardware requires custom work, because if your device uses proprietary protocols or any advanced features, you're going to need more custom development and you need to budget for that accordingly. And testing takes time, especially with IoT apps. Unlike regular apps where you can just test everything on the screen and just submit it to the App Store, IoT apps need testing with actual hardware in different conditions and different edge cases. Your device might work perfectly in the office and in the lab, but it could fail in the customer's home or in front of your customer because of Wi-Fi interference. And here's the thing, right? These challenges exist whether you spend $10,000 or $50,000. The difference is that you're not overpaying for basic functionality that the AI and modern tools can handle. Let me tell you why a lot of hardware companies waste a lot of money on IoT apps. Because they treat it like hiring it for any app developer. Because they just post on Upwork or contact agencies that build regular apps. The developers don't really understand IoT. And what ends up happening is that they end up quoting high for the project because they're guessing. And then deliver something that barely works with the hardware. Or they hire someone cheap who's never developed an IoT app before, and 6 months later the app's constantly disconnecting, draining the battery within minutes, and the customers are furious. Or they try to build it completely by themselves using generic tutorials, and they get it 80% done, hit the wall with connection stability, and realize that they need expert help along the way, and now they've wasted 6 months trying to do it all themselves. This is what smart hardware companies do. They find someone who specializes in IoT development and has built apps for hardware products before, especially from the ground up. someone who understands Bluetooth low energy connections, Wi-Fi positioning, sensor data handling, and firmware updates, especially for over-the-air updates as well. They leverage AI and use modern tools to speed up the development process and cut costs. So they leverage AI and modern tools to speed up the process and obviously cut costs, especially in 2026. They get it built properly for the first time for $25,000 instead of spending six figures for a general developer to learn IoT app development on their own dime. So here's what you should actually do if you're building an IoT app for your hardware product. Firstly, the first thing you should do is actually document exactly what your device does. How does it connect? Does it connect via Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or both? What data does it send? What can users control? And what is the core functionality that customers absolutely need from the mobile app? Second, decide whether you're going to try and do this yourself by utilizing AI tools or you're going to hire expert help. If your device is straightforward and you have time to learn, then you can try the do-it-yourself route. However, if your device is complex or you need to be launched quickly, I would recommend to get expert help. Now, I actually specialize in this because this is what I've been doing for the last 6 years, designing and developing mobile apps that connect to IoT connected devices or hardware integrated apps, and I've been doing this since 2016 for the last 10 years. So if you guys are interested in actually working with me in regards to me helping you design and develop your IoT or hardware connected app, I would invite you to click on the link below to book in a free call with me to discuss how I can personally help you bring your app idea to life in the shortest amount of time possible. The link is in the description below. Again, thank you for watching today's video. If this video has helped you out a lot, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.